No. Nope.
Is this Mike?
Smack it.
Is this Mike live? Hello.
Hello.
Nope. It's dead.
It's dead.
It's dead, Jim.
I'm supposed to die on screen later. Testing 1, 2, 3.
They intentionally gave you the dead mic for a reason.
Yes, it shows how wise they are.
Oh.
What did that mic ever do to them?
X?
It's continuity guy.
I changed it from 43 aspects to wider thing. That was
Okay. I gotta figure out a way to. I don't even know if that's an option. You see that little thing that keeps going in front of Silverquill's face? The square box?
Yeah, come on.
Anyways, there's a box that keeps coming up to go on faces.
Oh, that's the official.
Face detection. I hate it.
Yeah.
I gotta turn that off. I'm tired of seeing the box on the screen. It's a good thing it's not doing it on my best butt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That ain't a face.
Face recognition. Blank recognition.
always right. It takes it's tough because it's just like, oh, of course you do it that way.
This thing I'm just going to start talking and talking. Here I am, just rambling on as I
I
do.
recognize it.
Hello, everybody. Oh, wait. Can you hear me?
Yay!
We have Mike.
They fixed it.
All right, fantastic. That means I haven't destroyed my first panel day of the day. Hi, I'm Charlie. I like puns. You should totally make more puns around me because I would really enjoy that forever.
I don't think you're being invited to the next con.
Well, everyone, how are you doing, Whinny City 2019? I'm sorry, I just heard the wind blow in the Windy City. I said, how are you doing? Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with fandom gas. Ooh, that sounds like we all had beans for breakfast.
Maybe we did.
Well, everyone, thank you for coming to our Guests of Honor panel, which, as you can see, I kind of forgot the Guests of Honor. Whoops!
Uh-oh.
Wow.
So, let's bring them on out one at a time. First and foremost, we have a leader of My Little Ponies production. He started as a storyboard supervisor, but has now been with us all throughout the seasons. Please welcome Big Jim Miller.
Jim.
Okay, that's enough.
He even can direct the fandom. Next up, we know and love her as the voice of Daring Do. She's also been in Inuyasha, Dinosaur Train, starred in Stargate Atlantis, and several generations of My Little Pony. Our next guest. We know him from a great variety of screaming, usually from a power-up cycle that lasted 3 episodes. He's been Vegeta on Dragon Ball. In many cases, he has been Aoizodal, Carrot Cake, Filthy Rich, Double Diamond, also starring in Ninjago, Mega Man, and Mobile Suit Gundam 00. Please welcome Brian Drummond. Our next guest is one of the best speakers of rhyme you'll ever encounter in this lifetime. She's played Sakura, Matilda, and Mage Meadowbrook's mother. But she's also been in a variety of other programs, including Dinosaur Train, Little Danger Bay, and The Blade, the series. Please welcome Brenda Critchlow.
Brenda.
How y'all doing? Woo!
Ah.
And next up, we have one of the most attitude-driven characters on the show, Gilda's voice actress. But she's also played Sonata Dusk. I'm selling 100 for tacos, I know. But she's also been on the Gintama series. She has played Revi, one of the most powerful action heroes in anime, and a variety of, and even starred in Sausage Party. Please welcome Marinka Hendricks. And last but certainly not least, hailing from another branch of the franchise, the comic industry, she creates hypnotically beautiful artwork for both IDW with My Little Pony, Rick and Morty, even the X-Men collection. Please welcome Sarah Richard. And I'm Sildrick Quill, I'm just here. And also what's here
Nobody
is
cares.
the Jenga set. No, we're not going to have a bonfire. That would be a fire code hazard. But
Jenga.
here's what we're thinking of doing. I'm going to ask just a few questions to break the ice, and then we're going to start taking audience questions. And every time a member of our community, the guest of honor, answers a question, they get to move a Jenga piece.
Ooh.
So I'm asking you all to plan in advance, strategize. Who do you want to move that final piece that causes the topple? But first, I have a question for every panelist. Let's just go down the line.
All right.
We are here at a convention, and at conventions, they're very big on the 6-2-1 rule, which raises a question. What's your favorite breakfast at a convention?
Favorite breakfast?
Favorite breakfast?
For everybody?
For everybody.
Starbucks drink.
Yeah.
That's about all today.
Okay.
I had
Sorry.
half a Coke and then spilled the rest of it in the back.
Aww.
She's a breakfast company.
Get her a Coke.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a little flyby Whole Foods, so I had some yogurt and banana. And I think I might have put some nuts in there too. Some nuts. Yeah, but you know what? It works. It keeps the Constitution going. You know, I could go on about that, right? Especially when you're at a con.
Well, let's see. I turned 50 this year, so I'm starting to incorporate a lot of brand,
A big glass of Metamucil.
Metamucil, yeah,
I just have coffee in the morning. Coffee girl.
and a workout, right?
Yeah, a workout and coffee.
I just had the buffet at the hotel. I saw some of you guys out there this morning too.
Excellent. Well, some of that sounds healthy. Some of it. Most of it sounds caffeinated, which is awesome.
Yes.
Well, let's get this party started with a question for Jim. Okay. Now, you got your start, at least according, if IMDb hasn't lied to me, you were a prop designer for Ed, Edd, and Eddy.
I was actually a board artist primarily, but I did do some prop design there.
How does one design a prop for a cartoon?
Well, prop design is, I did all sorts of stuff on that show, but props are usually things that characters interact with, so you would draw a water bottle if there was a water bottle needed, and you want to design it in the style of the show. Anything the character interacts with that isn't animate or has minor moving parts like a machine, that would be a prop.
Excellent.
Interesting.
That's Twyla King. Who here remembers Twyla King?
That would be a prop. A cupcake that Pinkie Pie launches, the party cannon is a prop. So that's how we refer to them in the show.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to keep asking questions, but I'd also like to ask, if anyone would like to ask a question of our panelists, we can set up a microphone and start this Jenga game. So don't be shy. Come on, I think lining up along the center. That work?
Jenga, Jenga, Jenga. Where is it?
Well, here
I'm
comes
looking for
our
it.
audiovisual staff who, I tell you, when they were working on the mics, they were typing on screens. I had no idea what was going on. It's like, are you watching the nuclear code or something? Okay, yeah, oh yeah, I asked lots more questions.
Can I just ask that some of the foals come up too?
Oh, yes.
Some of
Yeah,
the-
if any of the
Let's go
kids have
first.
questions, give them priority, please.
Come on up.
Any children at heart should also get priority. Children, people of.
Well, it's everyone then.
I know, right?
Yeah, that would.
All right.
Maybe all of us.
Yeah.
I understand
Where's that Jenga
your
game? I'm not
began
seeing
with
it.
a talent
Where's it at?
competition where you won a chance to meet your
Oh,
idol,
to your
Punky
left.
Brewster.
Like very left?
A little more. There we go.
I think you need to move a little closer.
I don't know. No, this isn't working. Here, Kara.
That one's definitely worth.
So, yes, does anyone know who Punky Brewster is? So
I've heard, yeah. I've heard of it.
So I was 7 years old, and my mom saw this contest in a mall that said "Search for a Star." It was called. I'm always singing, always dancing as a kid, kind of like what I am now, always singing and dancing. And so she's like, "Oh, maybe my daughter could do this Search for a Star contest." And the only reason I did it because one of the grand prizes was to fly to LA and watch a taping of Punky Brewster and meet Soleil Moon Frye. And it was, I still will never forget that experience. I dressed like her, I had the suspenders and the cool pants and the different colored socks and the tie. Is this the question? I don't know. On Punky Brewster. And definitely from that moment, I was like, I want to do what she does, for sure.
Did you win?
Yes, I won.
You won.
So from that contest, I wanted, you get an agent. And my very first audition was for a little golden bookland, a cartoon. And I played Pokey the little puppy.
You got your very first audition too.
Wow.
Pretty good.
That's easy for some people.
It doesn't always happen like that. It was like the serendipity or the angels looking out for me.
Oh, but I think I just made the rest of the panelists jealous. You passed
Yeah.
your first competition. First, oh, jealousy.
Yeah, but it hasn't been easy since then.
You're running to win this Jenga game already.
It has not been easy since then. Okay.
Wait, speaking of jealous, Brian,
Yes,
you're a Raptors fan.
I'm a Raptors fan.
I think so.
No, that's
Great.
Really?
If I watch basketball, I'm a hockey fan. That's a
Oh,
huge
Yes!
big time hockey fan.
Well,
The Raptors are my favorite NBA team. I probably only watch about 20 games a year. So I watch every game.
well, if you could jealously steal two players from Chicago,
Well, there's that question. I was asking Marika this earlier if I could steal two players from. I said from the history of the Bulls. It'd be Jordan. That's who I put.
Yeah. What can I ask?
all right.
Ask me a hockey question. Yeah, come on, ask me a hockey question. How about those
Okay, well, you want to voice it?
Blackhawks? Ay, not in the playoffs this year, eh?
Well,
Like the Canucks.
Fine with me.
here's a voice acting question for both you and Brenda. You both studied at Studio 58 in Vancouver.
Yes.
We sure did.
So what did they do with the other 57 studios?
Well, there was a Studio 54, so there was really, those guys started it. We just
56.
Yeah, I wonder too, where did the name?
I have no idea where the name came from. I don't know, but it was a great school. Fabulous school. We should probably get on some questions pretty quick because that line is getting.
I think apologies that I didn't ask. Might have some more questions later.
Yeah, we'll come back. Let's get through.
I think a young lady has a question for us.
What exactly do this is a question for the voice actor of Daring Do, Ali Soto, Cora, and other characters in Gilda. What exactly do you do in episodes where they're not featured, like most of the episodes don't feature them?
What do we do when we're not in an episode? We desperately look for jobs on other episodes of other shows. Is what we do. We're thrilled when we're invited in, or our characters come back on the show. But this isn't the only job we have working on My Little Pony. It's one of many jobs on many different animated shows, some of which maybe you've seen, and some of which are for older audiences, and some for younger. So we work every week. I work on different things all throughout the day, and then sometimes the call comes in, oh Brian, we need you for My Little Pony episode, Ali Zola's back, or Mr. Cake is in one. We're like, yes, great, I'm so excited to go work on it. But we work on other things. Put it on my calendar and make sure I'm on time, or else Big Jim gets really mad if the actors are late.
Excellent. Well, we had two answers from.
No, he pretty much answered it.
Jenga time.
Jenga time.
Jenga.
You get to Jenga.
Jenga.
And while he moves it,
Oh, there it is. I see it.
Starting at the bottom.
That's big.
Oh, did you say you greased these up? That's not nothing. So,
Oh, there we go.
Whoop.
there it is.
Got it.
There it is. We'll go right there.
all right.
The stage rocks.
Yeah, getting up towards the end of this would be interesting.
Right, I sense a Fluttershy pinky fin.
Oh, thank you. Just curious. There are a lot of people who are like me and everyone else here who love your work that you do. Is there any particular voice actor that you're a big fan of?
That's a great question.
That's a good question.
Or any actor in particular?
I saw Spider-Man enter what's it called? Spider-Verse or whatever? The new one?
Yep.
And the young man that plays
Miles?
Yeah, is
Shamik Moore.
amazing.
Yeah.
So that's a new person that I really enjoy.
Have you seen the movie Dope? He's also
No.
in this movie called Dope. And he's
Dope.
very good in that.
Okay.
For me, right now, I got on a kick in the green room was telling everyone they needed to see the cartoon Princess and the Frog. And it's a kind of an all-black cast done in New Orleans or somewhere. And there's lots of singing, and they embody the characters like no other. So, anybody seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, excellent. Yeah, like one of my favorite of all time.
Yeah. Kiara, is there someone in particular you like?
I love Tom Kenny.
Oh, I met him last year.
You did, lucky girl. He's the nicest guy.
Yeah.
Super talented.
Oh yeah, he's very friendly.
Great work ethic. And this is going to sound really cheesy, but the Vancouver actors we have, I'm always in awe of them. I'll sometimes watch Ryan in a session and go home and be like, God, he's so talented.
Sexy.
Wish
Oh.
That's just like we really do have the creme de la creme of actors of Vancouver, and I'm always in awe of them.
And they don't get enough respect, I don't think.
Here we go. Jenga.
I think for me, one of my favorites, I've gotten to meet twice. I'm a huge fan of Rob Paulson.
Yes.
Yeah, Rob Paulson.
Yes.
Jacko Warner.
Yeah, and he's very friendly guy.
Yes. Thanks.
Oh, you've got it.
You got to do this.
Jenga.
You answered a question. You answered a question.
I think Vinny's move at least where it's found the spider.
I think everybody's went for the middle block.
Yeah.
It's going to get ugly now.
There we go. Never has there been such tension.
Oh, there we go. Oh.
Are we on the same row?
The responsibility.
You're cutting into the wooden body.
Oh, holy cow. Really, guys.
Some are pretty stiff. This is a new name for it.
You just have to continue the pattern. Like
See, this is how you increase the tension.
There we go. Big Jim.
Your turn, Jim.
Yes.
Where did you get the idea of the voice of the characters?
Good question. Who hasn't answered one yet? Where do you get the idea for the voices of the characters? Well, we get something usually called a character breakdown, kind of a little idea of what the production wants that character to be like. So people like Jim, are you involved usually in writing and putting that together?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes the writers will do it, but depending on how busy they are, we'll assemble it. And then we'll go through and select a few key lines from the episode for an audition.
Yeah. So they tell us, okay, he's He's a mythical Mayan creature, kind of a monster with big teeth, and he's got a hand on his tail, and his name is Awizodel. And they have a couple of descriptors of who the character is, and then a few of their lines, and they said maybe with a little bit of a Latin flair to the accent, maybe not. So I think I sent a couple of reads in for Awizodel, one that was with a bit of an accent, one without, and then lots of people send in auditions, and people like Jim listen to all those auditions and pick which one they feel suits who that character is going to be the best. So we get a little breakdown of what the character's like, and then we have to use our own imagination of what we think that would sound like, come up with an idea. Good question.
And there's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
But there is hired and not hired.
Okay, touche.
Check it time again.
Oh boy.
Another middle one.
Oh. Intense.
It's getting scary now.
There's a section that's crazy. Oh yeah. There's a real jerk move that could happen.
All right.
Hello, this is for all the voice actors. Just a hypothetical question: what is the one character that you've always dreamed about voicing if you ever got the chance?
One that they haven't already voiced?
Someone's gonna say something.
Like who would be your dream role?
Dream role.
Like if they had never done a voice for, say, Daffy Duck, would you want to do Daffy Duck?
That's a good question. Well, I'm a pretty big Simpsons fan.
I know.
And Family Guy. So if there was a role I could do, I could play Brian. Stress involved, no screaming. If I could have had a role in one of those two shows, that would have been just fabulous because I love so much of the writing and the comedy that's involved. In Vancouver, we don't tend to do a lot of primetime adult animated series, so that's always a bit more of a desire for me. We do lots of preschool and lots of sort of 8 to 12 and teen shows, but not as much stuff that's prime time designed for adults to watch specifically. So that's why I'm sort of usually drawn to the Rick and Morty, the Family Guy, American Dad, Simpsons, Bob's Burgers, that kind of stuff. I love all those.
Yeah.
You guys
I can't think of one. I know that in 5 minutes I'll think of it. Where did I?
No time. You got this.
Let him miss.
Ooh. Good job.
Hello. Hi. This isn't really much of a question. It's more of a suggestion for Big Jim right here. Oh. It's about the season 9 series finale. You remember the book from the beginning of the series?
Yeah.
Maybe at the end of the series you could have that book closing at the end, sign of what Lauren intended to have it happen at the end of season 3.
I mean, it's already been written and voice recorded, so I can't tell you.
Oh, it has?
Yeah, we're almost done. So.
Okay, all right.
Predictions.
Well, I guess I got to do that now.
Again. Dun dun dun.
Big Jim.
What's there?
Okay. All right.
Oh, this is good.
Oh, go big or go.
Question for Brenda. What is swamp fever?
Ooh. Swamp fever.
Swamp fever. Yes.
Okay, y'all, swamp fever. Somebody help me out with that one. Swamp fever.
What Sakura was infected with and almost became a tree.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, there you go.
Question answered.
Me?
I think he answered it, so I guess you gotta go pull the block.
I'm going to destroy this. Before I move the block, though, I'd like to just ask a question of the comic realm of Sarah.
Yeah, I'm fine. Not.
You still have to go first.
I promise. But while I'm doing that, to distract from my utter failure, question: you animated this beautiful piece piece of the legend of the Rainbow Crow in Friends Forever.
Hey.
And I learned later that that was from the Lenape tribe.
Yes. Yeah.
What sort of research or references did you consult while working on that artwork?
I consulted Google.
Google.
Is that Google France?
No, yeah.
You got this, Silver.
Oh man, I'm just gonna watch this for a second.
Yes, watch me struggle.
You gonna watch it? I'll live
Walk carefully.
Don't breathe on it.
Yeah, Tony Fleece came up with this story, and he knew he wanted to have the Rainbow Crow in there. So, like, with a lot of even just drawing some of the characters, we go online and look for reference. So I kind of did a deep dive into some of the history of the Rainbow Crow and tried to stick as true to it as I could. It's a very cool mythological story if you guys want to get into it. And I think it was issue 31, 32. Yeah. So definitely check out that story. It's pretty cool. It's got some ties to some actual history in the human world. So, yeah.
Jagged time.
There's not many more blocks you can push. Look at that middle. That's the only thing holding it on.
Well, you can always go back on top.
I have the woodpecker method. That's right.
Like,
yeah, but
take the stuff on top.
Yeah, but look at the middle. It's only being held on by. Whoa! Woo!
Oh, this is
It's actually still looking quite good.
You can tilt it.
Yeah, but look at it. It's right there in the middle.
So Jim, you
It's like if you
had
topple
a
right
panel
over.
on Friday.
Yeah, it looks
and
like
during it you
you
discussed
topple over.
some standards and practices, and how like Yona jumping off a ledge or tackling in the naysayer, that's too much. But then yesterday, we watched Sombra get painfully disintegrated 2 times.
That's big.
Who is making these rules?
There's a person in standards and practices that apparently is okay with certain kinds of violence and not other kinds of violence. We have never been able to discern any kind of pattern because it's very context-based. Like, we can do things with bad guys because they're bad, but the good characters we can't sometimes, and it's I'm sure there are definitive rules, but we aren't always aware of what they are, so it sometimes seems arbitrary.
So it's just Disney villain death.
It's just, you just get these notes back from them and like, please make sure that this pony still looks alive after getting zapped, and or limit the amount of broken glass, or that kind of stuff. No open flames, and no stemmed glasses, because I guess a stemmed glassware means alcohol.
Oh boy.
Or a
really?
glass, if there's too much fruit or umbrellas, that means alcohol. We have to have juice instead of soda, even though it has just as much sugar. That kind of stuff.
Pony, but you can't have a pony punch.
I see that a younger fan has joined the line. Can we allow her up front?
Come on up. Can someone adjust the microphone for her? That's nearby.
Jim's going to jump.
That's it.
We're just gonna let Jim.
This is a question for Big sorry. What about the whole My Little Pony Fiend His Magic comics where Sombra was actually a good character? Did you just throw it out the window for the premiere?
Like, why was that not continued from the comic?
Yeah.
That's a really good question. It would be nice if maybe we were given copies of the comics to know that that kind of stuff happens. Unfortunately, we don't have, like, because we're at DHX and Hasbro is in charge of organizing the continuity of the comics, like, we don't have a person at Hasbro who's the single person in charge of the continuity for the series. So, like, at Lucasfilm, Pablo Hidalgo controls all the timelines for Star Wars stuff. So he knows everything, and he can tell you where and he's got a whole team that can tell you where, like, okay, we can't do that because that'll conflict with this. And we don't have that. We just have people remembering the previous episodes as best we can. And like on the series, everything that happens in the series makes sense with itself for the most part, unless we really screwed up and forgotten something. But trying to hook it up with the comics sometimes is real tricky, because the comics come out a lot more regularly than the series, and sometimes we're working a lot further ahead than the comics. And I wish there was more synchronicity between them, but there's just not.
Yeah, sometimes it's kind of hard because like the comics, they get to sort of experiment with things that they can't really do in the show too, and then sometimes we're following you guys.
Yeah.
So sometimes it gets a little bit.
It gets muddy.
It's
almost like a parallel timeline.
Yeah. Yep.
Good question.
Poor Jim.
Two more.
Jim's been put on the spot here.
Where's music?
We need music.
No pressure.
Are some of these stapled together?
Slide over here. Get the assist. Clearly against the rules.
Going low, huh?
No. Next time I closed my camera. I had to restart it. Whoops.
Hello.
Hate it when that happens.
I figured we could get through some more questions.
I'm just waiting right now.
Fire away.
All right, this is for you, Brian.
Yes.
What was it like to voice Streaky from Crypto the Superdog?
What was it like to voice Streaky? I wish we did more of that series. It was such a fun little series. Sam Vincent played Superdog, and I got to play Streaky the Super Cat, and a really sweet little series, but it just didn't seem to find its audience at the time. It was fun. I usually when I tend to do some smaller guys, they're always a little more of a pleasure to do, because I play a lot of villains and big guys and scary guys.
But Streaky was up in here to hang out with that sort of high, so hey guys.
So it was a really fun one to do. And Sam Vincent's a good friend of mine, so it was a blast to sort of be his partner in crime and stuff. It was a very fun show to do.
I know, that was my childhood. I wish there was a movie though.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Maybe the DC Universal.
Yeah, if Justice League had been a bigger hit, maybe you would have gotten the Zack Snyder.
Thanks.
All right,
Good
thank
question.
You can rebuild it if you want.
Okay. Well, I'd just like to say, before I ask my question, in Jenga, there's no winners, just one loser who messes everything up.
It's appropriate it was me then.
Anyways, my question for Sarah. Hi. Yeah, how long did it take you to get used to, like, just get your art style before it felt natural?
Oh yeah, my whole life. Like I've been drawing forever. But I kind of imitated a lot of styles I liked for a while when I was a kid. Like you do, you have a show that you really like and you want to draw just like what you see on TV, create your own character and everything. So high school was mostly anime, and then into college was trying to wean myself off of drawing anime. It's actually hugely detrimental to do for so long because it throws off your whole college portfolio and you get in trouble with anything. But then it kind of came from my love of art history. I really like Art Nouveau and Art Deco, and I had a couple classes like that in school. And it honestly came from wanting to design a dinosaur tattoo that was Art Nouveau. And then I thought, well, that's kind of cool looking. Maybe I'll start doing my favorite comic characters like that. So what I have now is hugely different from when I started kind of figuring it out. But over the years, you kind of find ways to draw like noses and eyes and hands an easier way for you, and that kind of becomes your style after a while. So I'm kind of excited. What I have right now is going to change probably in a couple of years again too. So yeah, just keep drawing. You'll find something.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Do you have that dragon tattoo on you?
I do. Cool. On my side.
That's awesome.
Not for public.
So it's there.
How would you know? Yeah, it's zucchini
My
market.
question is for Marika. What is the most creative mispronunciation of your name that you've heard?
We both have unusual names. Tell them your name.
I'm Nectaria.
Nectaria?
We talked a little bit last night about that.
Mary Kay's got to be up there somewhere.
Mary is actually my favorite because my brother's here actually today, and my grandfather, our grandfather, called me Mary Kay, and I love it. It wasn't a mispronunciation, just a nickname. I think probably like one of my teachers in college, when I did my child and youth care counselor diploma, and he called me America.
America.
Which was kind of interesting. Oh, this one's amazing. Okay, so I'm in a commercial session with Michael Dangerfield, if you guys know who that is. And at one point, the clients who are in a car, we can hear them driving like along a road, which was obviously very bumpy. And he comes over the microphone and he's like, "Okay, Michael and Malik." Malik.
How do you get Malik out of Marika?
A warped sort of version of my name. So Malik, letters.
What name do you give Starbucks?
Yeah.
To write on.
They usually write Monica. Thank you. That's awesome. Thanks.
Monica.
Please give them Malik from now on.
This is a question for Big Jim. Since you did Ed, and Eddie.
Yes, sir.
What is under Double D's hat?
We never decided. It went on so long that we came to the conclusion that whatever we came up with would ultimately be disappointing because the mystery was built up so much that's why, like, we had all sorts of weird theories of like a parasitic twin, an extra brain, more eyes. Like there's all sorts of weird doodles, but nothing official ever.
There was a game where he throws his head in there. And
Did you actually see under his hat in that?
Yes.
Was he just bald?
He had dreads. He had what? Dreads.
Dreads.
That is disappointing.
But you're saying until the moment it was Schrodinger's hat?
Yeah. Yeah. There may be a dead cat under there.
Oh, God. Dead
cat. 50.
Got two quick ones, but I feel like I accidentally might botch the name Kiara.
Kiara, perfect.
Oh. First one. No, I remember Marika's from NSP really well.
Yeah.
Could you say, as Daring Do, snakes? Why does it have to be snakes?
Snakes? Why does it have to be snakes?
Snakes? Why does it have to be snakes?
And then to all the
You know her fear.
if there was such thing as My Little Pony bloopers,
Ooh.
what line would you just have fun in your characters to mess up?
What would be a fun blooper to say as your character? It's difficult because there's children here. My favorite bloopers involve swearing, isn't it?
What's the worst way you could misspeak friendship is magic?
The worst way you could misspeak it?
Yeah, like someone says friendship is tragic.
I was thinking of the first word. You could alter that a little bit.
Like flirnship is blagic. Feng Shui. Amway is magic.
Friendlies.
Oh, well, that's good. Thanks.
This one's for both Brian Drummond, Cherazani, and Big Jim Miller. In terms of for both Daring Do and Baking Soul, did you actually have to, like, for inspiration of characters, was it like watching some adventure series or movies to get the inspiration for the voices?
No, it was weird. We talked briefly about this for this character because it said it was a Mayan. It was actually funny because it was written on the first character breakdown. It said Mayan accent, and I'm like,
does anyone know what that is?
Yeah, I know. This is a dead language. It's like there is no one on the planet who knows how a Mayan person would have spoke English with a Mayan accent. So I just went for an idea. I looked up, I was like, what's an Awizolo? I'm like, oh, it's kind of like the chupacabra of South America. And it actually, I saw pictures of it and got an idea, because I actually never saw the drawing of the character when I auditioned. So I looked up what one would look like, and it's got similarities there. And then I just played with the idea of a little bit of a Latin flair to him, and a bit of an over-the-top type villain was what I went with.
I definitely watched some Indiana Jones and tried to pick up that vibe. Thanks.
Yeah, and then for the when we actually board and make those episodes, we do watch, like, we reference Indiana Jones all the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, lots of other adventure films. Like, I was just watching Treasure of the Sierra Madre again last night. There's some of that.
Romancing the Stone.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
The big Jim.
Hi, so I have a question for Brenda. So Zecora has been in the show ever since season 1, but not a whole lot. And if I remember correctly, Zecora is the only zebra there is. I think so. What are your thoughts on zebra culture? Because they haven't really explored that.
Oh, well, what are my thoughts on zebra culture? Well, first of all, we should have a whole lot more. We don't have any other family members of Zecora. So she was introduced kind of as a lone zebra pony. Yeah, and they kind of left that as the mystery as to why she's on her own, because zebras are herding animals. They move in a pack, right?
Yeah.
So
I can give you a real production answer. You remember yesterday when someone asked, like, how hard is it to write Zecora's rhymes? You want to write a whole race?
Oh God!
No writer is brave enough to
have a whole herd, I suppose.
Is there any difficulty, like you're talking about this character with spotted difficulty with stripes and is that
Absolutely.
challenging too?
Like, tracking those kinds of elements on an animated character can be difficult, and so that would be another reason. You know, we would do it if it came up in a story context, but it can be extra difficult.
That's a great question.
Very good question.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So, can you adjust that? Sure. So, my question is for Marika. So this is a hypothetical two-parter. So let's say Gilda and Gallus were to hook up. Hashtag I ship it. Where would they go on a date, and what would they talk about?
Oh boy.
This will be
Oh
my.
I think need to price upon this. Gallus is a Griffin character recently introduced as a student.
He's much younger too.
It's hypothetical, Jim.
Grown-up Gallus.
Where would they go on a date? And what would they do?
And yeah, what would they talk about?
What would they talk about?
You know.
Spend the whole time mocking
what they
him
would
and trying
do.
to give him money, trying to get him to give her money.
Sure.
Yeah.
Take a meal. And she'd probably make him fly her there. So she would sit on his back, possibly. And where would they go?
I think they go to a stand-up show and heckle.
That's good. I'm going to go with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah, I'm going to get my credit card later.
Hi.
Hi.
I actually have two questions, but if we're a little short on time, I can just ask one of them for one of the actors.
Well, you've got about 10 minutes, so could you ask your first question and then just cycle through the line one more time?
Okay, for Ciara, I'm curious just to have a little more insight as to how you were chosen as young as 8 for a role in that cartoon Pokey the Little Puppy. Like, have you always been into voice acting from a really young age and just decided to audition for it? If you could give me just a deeper insight as to how that happened.
Yeah, why am I still doing it? First of all, I love this job. It's the greatest job in the world. And Pokey Little Puppy from Golden Bookland was my very first audition. So that sort of was just me breaking into this industry, really, really lucky, and finding a character like Pokey Little Puppy. I was 7. So I don't really remember a lot of prep for the character, but I really feel like I was meant to play her. She was a tomboy. She loved to sing. I still sing a lot of her songs. And it's a job that I'll never forget because it's why I'm still doing this job.
So when her family saw the paycheck, they were probably like, do you want us to keep doing this, honey? It's a lot of fun for 7-year-olds.
Did you ever watch that show?
No, but I've heard of it. So you just felt like you were right to play her, and it was true.
First of all, I love animals. She's a dog, and she was a tomboy. She loved to sing, everything I love to do. It's on YouTube. Try and find it, and you'll see it's really sweet.
Okay, I'll definitely look it up.
Yeah, thank you for such a great question. There are books too.
Question for Big Jim. What was your inspiration and concept when you were creating the concept for King Sombra? For the
that was written by the writer, so we knew that he was coming back, and I was just the storyboard supervisor at that point.
In general.
But you mean for like his look or the voice?
Just in general, like when he first got introduced in season 3.
So when he came up in the script, I seem to remember Jason and Woody, who were directing at the time, had some discussions about trying to make him, because it was the first. No, I guess he wasn't the first male bad guy, but they were trying to do something that was very different from the bad guys we had already seen, and then I think they wanted to try and do he was mostly a cloud through most the first two-parter, and I don't even know if in the original script, I can't remember if he actually became corporeal in quite the same way that he does in the final episode, but we looked at a lot of like tyrants and stuff, like this classical, like Vlad the Impaler kind of stuff, and that's why it's sort of slight vampire fangs, those kinds of things. And then Red and Black just seems sort of edgy, as you guys know. So yeah.
Okay.
Real quick, we're at about the 5-minute mark.
Rapid fire.
So we're gonna enter the lightning round.
Yeah.
Alrighty. For the voice of Sonata Dusk, because I'm terrible with names, what do you think Sonata is doing now after the events of Rainbow Rocks? Do you think she's working at a taco place?
She's working at all the taco places in town. She just keeps going like
24/7.
Yeah, 24/7. She never sleeps.
Tacos.
She goes around, bugs all the customers.
Give me a bucks.
Says insane things that don't make much sense.
That's Sonata.
And to her, every day is Tuesday.
Of course.
All right, quick question for everybody on the stage there. If you have a favorite fan interaction you can quickly discuss in about a minute.
Favorite fan interaction?
Anything that stands out?
Holy yeah.
Wow, would that be a this con or any con?
Any con. Or even just walking down the street.
Whenever I do a sketch for somebody and they walk away hugging it, makes me happy. So that happens quite a bit at especially like pony conventions, and it really, really means the world. So that's always my favorite.
For me, I think some of the best stories are when someone confides in me and they tell me how much this show has changed their lives because they were going through a really difficult time. So whether it was about acceptance, or they were being bullied, or they were suffering from depression, it's always wonderful for me when someone just lets me know which episode that was, that turned them on to the show, or that they learned something from, and it changed their perspective.
Yeah, I'm very similar. This con or anime cons, like, because there's a couple other shows that I'm a part of as well, but similar interactions where people say it gave them strength somehow to either meet other people or even come to an event like this and create friendships because they didn't have many, and it created an environment for them to grow personally somehow. And they said it was that voice that did it, or it was that moment when I saw that character, or it was that episode that's always exciting to hear that
And
stuff.
just to be real quick, serendipitously, that girl standing right behind you did that to me yesterday.
Yeah.
And it made me
that's so
tear
cool.
up.
That's
So
so cool.
those are the moments I never forget.
In addition to what everyone else says, like coming to these events and seeing that people are really taking the messages of the show to heart and being kind and generous and funny with each other and all that stuff, that makes me happy that people are paying attention and learning from the show and reminding us that make it that it does have value and does have impact, and that's really special.
Thanks.
I want to do a quick rapid fire question, a different question for pretty much every one of you, if possible. So Sarah, what's the inspiration for your beautiful art style?
Oh man, Art Deco and Art Nouveau.
Marika, if Gilda were to watch Black Lagoon and see Revy and
Oh, God.
I want to say something cool, what would she say that's full appropriate?
I was gonna say, oh my goodness.
Full appropriate.
You should just go like this.
Brenda, do you like on camera or off camera work before? I've seen you in a Hallmark movie or two.
I like both. I'm comfortable behind the scenes. I do a lot of on-camera coaching, and it's just different being crew and assisting a fellow actor. And I coach actors and actresses all the time, so both are very different. And I'm glad that I'm comfortable and I'm happy doing both. Yeah. I'm good with both.
For Kiara and Brian, are you Indiana Jones fans, or did you become more of an Indiana Jones fan?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Raiders of the Lost Ark is always my favorite. It's my favorite, but
Are you?
Not really.
No.
But it's cool. I
Get
just
out.
haven't seen it.
Thank you for coming. You've been a blast.
Thank you. And Big Jim, out of all the G1 villains, what was the creative concept for the team to choose Grogar to come back for season 9, to bring him back?
He just seemed like the one that could be the biggest threat.
Yeah, seems like a badass.
It's looking cool. I'm looking forward to see the next season
Yes.
when you all get to do it.
We're just about out of time, so we can't do group questions, and we can't pick on anyone else in the line, but we can get through these next 3.
Yes. Okay. So really quick. So I know that the show is kind of more set in stone now, at least for this generation. And I always assumed and was confirmed that Zecora's rhyming scheme kind of hurt Zecora and other zebras. So I was curious, what would you guys think? You can't change anything that's already happened, but what would you guys think if maybe the Kieran were actually zebras? And that was why, and Autumn Blaze was actually Zecora. And that was why she left.
Like a similar, like a parallel storyline?
Yeah.
It's an interesting theory.
I got it out there.
I think that would be an excellent fan fiction.
Start writing. Yeah.
Start writing, people.
final question, here it is.
Just real quickly, is Discord the only one of its kind?
Is this which?
Does Discord?
Well, according to the comics, he isn't.
Shoot.
All I know is I've seen that cover with.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Cosmos?
Cosmos.
Yeah, Cosmos. I don't know if he counts as a...
Is it a she?
It's Discord's ex-girlfriend. So, yeah. So we all have that one in the past. So.
We've only seen Discord of his kind on the show, but I don't know
Yeah.
that necessarily excludes him from having.
I don't know if she doesn't really count as a chimera, I don't think, but I don't know. You have to read the comic book.
Yes. Good question. Great question, guys.
Give thanks to all our panelists for coming out and sharing your time, your talent, your insight with all of us. And I want to thank you, the fans, for coming and being an audience to provide these interactions and memories. I hope you all have a wonderful time at
And let's
the
thank
Whinny City.
Silver Quill.
Your last chance to come see us and say hello and whatever room we're in after this. Come say hi, shake a hand, get a hug, grow up, all the stuff.
Get some sugar.
Jim, you made a mess of my stage.
They invited me.
Yeah, it's true, it actually is. Thanks everyone for coming. Give it up for our guests of honor and so couple things I want to make sure everyone knows about. First of all, if you have any foals and fillies with us, we are doing a children's charity auction right around the corner in the charity room. 17 and under bidders only, like small items, just giving the kids a chance to kind of participate in that same kind of thing that we do in the main charity auction, but without the high price tag. So if you want to get in on that, go ahead and bring your kids over that way. That's going on, it's starting right now, and it'll be going on for a little bit. And then also, like they were just saying, they'll be over in autographs, so make sure you grab your vouchers before you head over that way. And a couple of these folks are going to be taking off after autographs, so if you want to have a chance to say hi to them one more time before they go, autographs will be the place to do that. So, thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.